Casey.
Have any of you felt unwelcome? We've all gone to the gym and felt like we have no idea what we're doing and that everyone is staring at us. I mean, I know I have. Although most of us get to that relief point, many as well live through life feeling unwelcome and face a fear that stops them from exceeding. Stuck in the middle. Now we've heard this term multiple times where we feel like we don't fit in either place. It could be because we feel like we don't fit in a specific friend group, or you can't decide on what to eat for lunch, or maybe even because it's a Disney show. But being stuck in the middle of two completely different worlds is harder than deciding what to eat for lunch. I grew up in a Hispanic household where at home I always spoke Spanish. Seasoned with Goya.
Oh, I know that.
Yes, hitting like there was no tomorrow, or waking up at 7 in the morning to my mom's love of her life, Juan Luis Guerra. Now here's a video of what is to be a little bit part of like my family.
Extraño mi vida como nunca en mi corazón quisiera. Quisiera ser a tu cariño y coronarlo con luz de tu.
Believe me, they're a handful. But when it came to school, I had to learn English and adapt to the American culture. I always felt that I was too American for my huge outgoing Hispanic family and too Hispanic for American culture because I came from a Hispanic background. Now by a show of hands, who here remembers where we learned about the melting pot in our 8th grade social studies class? My social studies teacher had told me that this melting pot was what really represented America. But in my eyes, that was really not the case. So yes, we learned about the melting pot and how America is made of different cultures and people around the world, and different backgrounds. But no one ever considered acknowledging the difficulties and challenges of mixing into that pot. As a 6-year-old kindergartner, it became extremely difficult to alternate between two different languages. At home, it was only Spanish, and at school, only English. Multiple times I would confuse the languages and say to my white friends, ¿Tú te acuerdas que hicimos ayer? And they would give me a blank stare that looked something like this. I would quickly correct myself, but my brain was working in two different worlds at the same time. Being in the middle slowly became insecurity. As a first generation student, I felt that whenever I went to school, I wanted to be, quote unquote, more American. I felt like wherever I stood, it was impossible to be enough for either world. According to the National Alliance on Mental Health, they wrote a research paper about Hispanic immigrants and first generations and the different type of cognitive factors that first and second generations Hispanics have. Parents were often tried to preserve their cultural roots through maintaining beliefs and practices from their home country, while the U.S.-born children may separate or dissociate from their parents' beliefs due to lack of strong connection to the country of origin or a desire to be more American. In America, Americans are seen as white people, not tan or dark-skinned. If you're not white, you're automatically considered not fully American. For most Hispanics, it's a struggle to feel like you're not welcomed in American life, that you are not enough to accomplish that American dream that immigrants around the world hope to succeed in. Here's a quote that says, "Immigrants have faced huge obstacles to achieve the American dream, yet have persevered to overcome them," written by Charles Rangel. That pressure that is put on Hispanics and anyone that comes from an immigrant family with a different background, when both cultures look at you and you can't fit into either one, is overwhelming. Many of us have stood in front of classmates or people to speak at least once, like I am right now, and we feel discomfort and fill up with anxiety that forces our bodies to become nervous. It's something normal that we call human nature. Many feel that way all the time. The American child I was at school was not the Guatemalan child I was at home. I was always told I wasn't American and that I wasn't Latina, which made me think, so what am I? My first language was Spanish, and I slowly learned English at school. I hoped that one day I was understood and could finally be seen as the Guatemalan American that I am. My parents always mentioned that they wanted my siblings and I to have a brighter future and become a successful graduate one day. Now we are weeks away from graduating, and I understand the purpose of myself and anyone with a different background. All of us feel unwelcome and becomes a sticking feeling. It can be because of these that I mentioned before. That feeling that we don't belong anywhere and that we're looked down upon. Many students have felt pressure and it affects their mental health, that they don't feel as if they belong. Some may be thinking, it may not be that hard to switch from one to another culture. But when we don't feel accepted for any reason, not just culture-wise, it's exhausting, and it's exactly what many, including myself, have felt. Now here's a chart of the diversity of America. Now if you pay close attention to the chart, there is no such thing as white or fully American, because everyone in this room has at least one ancestor who's somewhere other than America. No one here is considered fully American. Some are Irish, German, French, and so on. So all that makes us different from each other is our language and physical characteristics. But at the end of the day, we are all the same. The point of my TED Talk is because I want everyone to live life as if we were all in the same pot. As if we were all yellow like the Minions. Being in a country like America, we can teach younger generations to be more welcoming and to go out of the normal days to learn about the diversity of America, the real diversity of America. Think about it. Just like this seasoning, when we season something, we don't use one product. I mean, I personally use like 300 different products, but everyone sitting here is a sitting seasoning with different colors, tastes, and backgrounds. But no matter the different tastes or color or products, the seasonings are all the same. We are still all the same, born in America or not. We are just sitting seasonings. Thank you.
Yes!